Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Gervonta Davis, a.k.a. Abdul Wahid, has addressed Shawn Porter in regards to the statements that Shawn Porter made on the Porter Way podcast when he had on Bill Haney. Now, according to Shawn Porter, there is a reason and a rationale for why Gervonta Davis will never get into the ring with Devin Haney. And so I'm going to play that clip very quickly from Shawn Porter, and then we're going to go into the comments of Abdul Wahid, Gervonta Davis, and we'll go from there. So let me go ahead and play this clip very quickly here.
I will. I told Tim Tszyu when he came on the show, I said, you're not going to get a fight with Jamel Charlo. I said, just let that go. That fight's not going to happen because I know that he don't want that night. Same thing with Tank. All respect to Tank and his people, and they already know I love them, but they're not coming up to 140 to fight you. You showed Devin Haney showed himself to be too strong, too fast, too big, too everything. They'll do the catch weight. They'll try to bring you that 137 and try to pull you down, pull as much out of you as they can. Adrian Broner did that when I fought him. We were supposed to fight at 147. He made the contract weight at 144 just to try to pull something out of me. This is what the business is. If you're not a part of the plan, what do we put in place so that you never get to become a part of the plan? Devin Haney ain't a part of the plan.
So those are the comments from Shawn Porter. Interesting comments. Now, I understand the rationale behind what Shawn Porter is saying. He's basically saying when a fighter presents himself as being high risk, low reward, then you're not gonna make the fight. And he was talking and speaking specifically to Devin Haney and his performance against Regis Prograis. Now, you guys have heard me. I'm on the record as stating that I believe that Regis Prograis was tailor-made for Devin Haney, and I'm not knocking Devin for that. I think it's brilliant matchmaking. I think it's brilliant in terms of excuse me, in terms of just managing and guiding the career of a fighter. That's what you're supposed to do as a management team. And everybody has matchmakers, right? That's the reason for matchmakers, is to help promote the fighter and put the fighter in the best position. So I don't have any problem with that. In terms of trying to bring him down to a lower weight, I think Tank would fight him at 140. And I've stated that I believe Tank should fight him at 140 pounds. But you can't allow a fighter to go into the ring on fight night 25 pounds higher than the weight class. I'm assuming that Tank probably would weigh in maybe at somewhere in the mid 140s on fight night. Maybe he might rehydrate 10 pounds or so. You can't have a fighter rehydrating 10 pounds and the other fighter rehydrating 25 pounds. I mean, you're going in with a disadvantage right off the bat. And when you're Gervonta Davis, you're in a position where you don't have to give anybody that level of an advantage over you. So I can understand why Tank might put in a rehydration clause, but Tank, he's talking like he wouldn't even be, concerned about a rehydration clause, because according to Tank, let's see the comment that Tank made here that was interesting. Where is that comment? He said, "Now, ask Shawn this question. If I beat his ass in the gym and he was over 147 pounds, why would I be scared to fight a muff with just a nose? Shit not adding up." Right? Interesting comments from Gervonta Davis. Now, Davis is addressing that, and I get the logic that he's using there as well. But we all know, and I'm gonna be straightforward with this: sparring is not the same as an actual fight. Right? It's not the same as an actual fight. But I do get what Tank is saying in regards to, hey, if I got into the ring with a guy that's 147 pounds naturally, a guy that actually had to move down to get to 147 pounds because he fought at a higher weight class in the amateurs. So Shawn is a relatively big guy. Then why would I be afraid to get into the ring with Devin Haney? Now, it's interesting because we just recently heard that His Excellency is what they call him over in Saudi Arabia. I don't know his exact name, but it was just released, or it was just reported that he is willing to try to make the Gervonta Tank Davis, aka Abdul Wahid, versus Devin Haney fight. And if that is the case, maybe there's an opportunity for that fight. He says he's going to get in contact with Al Heyman. I would imagine that there will be a significant amount of money that would be in play for a fight like that. Now, I don't know if that's something that Al would be interested in terms of having Gervonta Davis go over to Saudi Arabia to make that fight. But that would be a mega fight, and clearly a fight that could actually be funded in a way that the fight would potentially make sense. Now, again, we know that Tank has some challenges in terms of just training. So honestly, I don't expect Tank back in Q1 whatsoever. Is it possible that they could do something in Q2 or Q3? I think so. I think that's something that Gervonta Davis would be open to. I don't think Gervonta Davis is afraid of Devin Haney. And quite frankly, I don't think Devin Haney is afraid of Gervonta Davis. But I do think that, the business of boxing could possibly get in the way of this fight being made. I think Bill Haney and Devin feel that Devin is at a certain level and he's going to deserve a certain amount of money. I think Tank Davis is definitely at a certain level. He's going to deserve a certain amount of money. The Saudis may be the answer to that, right? They may be willing to fund the fight in a way that will allow both fighters to get what it is that they're trying to get out of this particular fight in terms of overall resources. And if they can do that, there's a possibility that this fight could get made. And I would be interested in seeing if the Saudis can do this. Now, Saudi Arabia has been involved with one big fight card from the previous year. They are involved with the Anthony Joshua versus Ngannou fight that is supposed to happen in March. So it looks like they're really trying to get their feet wet in terms of boxing. And maybe this is something that we're going to see in the future, see the Saudi Arabians being more involved in the sport and helping to fund some of these big fights that we've been wanting to see. So we'll see what ends up happening in regards to this. Tank responding was quite interesting to some extent, funny. But, I think, we've said this on multiple occasions. Tank has to fight one of those guys this year. And I'm not saying he has to fight all three of them, but he has to fight, a Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson. We got to see him, take one of those fights. I'm not saying that has to be his next fight because Tank has been out in the ring for a little bit. But one of those fighters we need to see Tank in the ring with somewhere in 2024 to keep that momentum going. Devin has a great resume as it stands right now. So does T.O. Because they've been fighting some of the top names in the division. You got to give Devin love for that. You got to give T.O. love for that. But for those who try to say that, Gervonta Davis hasn't fought some of the top fighters, it's just not true. He's fought Pedraza. He's fought Barrios. And Barrios has shown that he's a bigger name in a more complete and competent fighter than what we initially thought he was, just based off of his recent performances against Keith Thurman as well as Ugas. So all these guys have really good resumes, but we need to see them get into the ring with each other to prove who's the best in and around that weight class. So you guys tell me what you think in the comment section in regards to Gervonta Davis, a.k.a. Abdul Wahid's response to Devin Haney and Bill Haney and Shawn Porter. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Anger Man Podcast, AM Sports Media, and .am.